Hello, my name is John Crayne. I'm in ARC 1510, and I will be giving you an informative speech about the Church of Light. Okay, everyone close your eyes and imagine with me. It's dark, you're at home in bed, asleep. It's morning, but you decide to sleep in. Your mom has other plans. You hear loud banging on your door, followed by your mom barging in anyways, throwing open the curtains. Sun fills the room with light and energy. And like any normal human, you whine and use your blanket to hide. For centuries, both moms and architects have used lighting to their advantage. Light is much more than just light. It can pierce through walls and small openings like a laser, and also disperse and fill a space like concrete. With the right adjustments to a building, the possibilities are endless to create energy within a space with just wall and light. The Church of Light is a perfect example of how this is possible in a simple and intriguing way. Tadeo Ando's facade works like a tool, cutting and funneling light. He successfully created an entire experience rather than just a building. To be frank, and my classmates can vouch, I've studied this church for weeks and under revision of 6 Clemson University professors that are much smarter than I am. Today I want to discuss 2 main pieces that create an experience in Tadeo Ando's form: the structure and the movement of light to create an experience. Let's begin by discussing the structure and how this light experience has literally been boxed up for our discovery. The experience of Tadeo Ando's church is defined by the minimalistic structure of 6 walls and a roof, and its play on shadow and light. The interior space is not very large, but the use of concrete walls in some ways are gravity-defying and precise. In these 15-inch concrete walls, there is a cross-shaped carve there's a cross shape carved into the wall behind the altar that extends to the edges of the building. This leaves 2 large gravity-defying squares suspended from the top corners of the wall, forming a cross where light can directly enter the building. Tadeo Ando's first vision was to shape and experience light of the building from the inside. And just as stated in Roger H. Clark and Michael Paz's 2005 and 3rd edition of Precedents in Architecture, at a more germane level, structure is columnar, planar, and a combination of these, all of which a designer can intentionally use to reinforce and realize ideas. Beginning with 4 walls, the light enters through a cross-shaped wall in the furthest wall, but most light enters through a small wall through a small intersection in the right wall that funnels light into the interior space. Especially at earlier times of the day when the light is brightest and reflects inward, most common times of congregation. This brings us to the other half of the experience: light. The architect was deliberate in designing this building to work as a tool that moves and bends light in specific ways. And once again, in Clark and Paz's Precedents in Architecture, the introduction of natural light may be the consequence of design decisions made about the elevation and section of a building. The wall is oriented to align with the layout of the surrounding suburb, while the rectangular frame is offset by 15 degrees. When you walk in on a Sunday morning, you walk in through the first door into a very dim corridor. You walk in through the next door into a space filled with light. Right here, you can see the corridor. This is where you would enter. This is the second door. And all of this is the space where light fills. When I put the cap back, you can clearly see the cross shape that forms on the front where light can enter. The entire experience is meant to be disorienting, revealing, and surreal, removing you from your sense of the outside world and its many troubles. This detachment from the real world aids you in reaching the spiritual world. At this point in the semester, my interest and experience with this chapel is beyond something that was forced upon me. There's such an attractive unison between the familiar and the simplistic structure and the position of the facade. The way this structure forms the light to affect the personal experience of the space is intentionally disorienting from the real world, heightening your spiritual senses. It's beautiful and poetic to see the facade so minimalistic, utilizing light in such a specific and sophisticated way. Conclusively, Tadeo Ando does this amazing job with controlling light in a very effective manner with minimalistic facade. There's clearly a time and a place for an abundance of light, and I hope my mom is still listening because I need my beauty sleep.